Hello, everybody. My name is Yash Patel. Today, I'm going to be doing an analysis of the PIC32MX5 data sheet. This is composed of a multitude of models of the PIC32, so we'll go further in depth and detail as we go through everything, the entire document. So first and foremost, we're going to be talking about the purpose of the document. The purpose of this is to provide information about the PIC32 to customers that buy this microchip. The technical document is a data sheet and it does follow typical convention, such as including graphs and diagrams, tables and whatnot. Now, the only way that this differs from other data sheets is by the information that's provided. So all data sheets are providing information about the microchip that they are referring to. And the only thing that is different is different chips have different specifications. And so let's go into a little bit of the rhetorical analysis, such as like the structure, layout, and visuals. We can see looking into the data sheet, this is just the beginning pages, but there's multiple, you'll see multiple tables, graphs, diagrams, and stuff like that as we scroll through. We can see that this is there's 256 pages in this PDF. So it's a very hefty, very lengthy PDF of just information full of what this microchip is capable of doing, all the different functions, stuff like that. So as we see, we have these graphs, the diagram. This is actually a pin diagram for this chip right here. There's multiple pin diagrams, as we can see, for different models or whichever way the pins may be, particularly how they're actually mapped out to each individual pin and how you can use them. That's actually what this document is actually referencing, each pin and how you can actually use that pin to function the way you want it to function. Now, continuing further on, we can talk about like the structure and the layout. So the way that this document is broken up to is, as we can see right here on the left side, there's multiple different, these are all the functionalities of this chip. So we can see that if we have anything to do with, if we're going to be using a reset or an interrupt controller, maybe even IO ports or a timer, we can click on these individual sections and we get more information regarding that. So for example, if we need an input compare, if we need to use this chip as an input compare, we can click on this section and then this section provides all information about an input compare. So we can just see all the different diagrams, just taking everything. It's very lengthy, so it's getting the main idea of it. Now, this also provides, we can see a multitude of graphs, but this also provides information on how to program the chip, and if you're coding the chip, how you would go about doing that. Let me show you an example of that. Now, see, as you can see, multiple diagrams, graphs, tables, but let me show you the example I was talking about. So right here. So this is referring to the bits that are actually associated with the pins and stuff like that. So here we can see that the bit 32, if we want to write, we will do a 0, whatever it may be. However you want to program this chip, you can program it in that certain way. Now let's move on to the audience. The primary audience of this data sheet would be PIC32 customers, which can be honestly anybody who's working with this PIC32 for a project or whatever it may be. But generally, typically, it's engineers who've already had experience with PIC32 who are using it for a specific project and just need to reference it or look at it to fit whatever criteria they need to meet. Now, the secondary audience would be like the manufacturer themselves, or like, let's say, tech support, anybody who's they need to know all the information that is provided in this data sheet. So that way, whenever a customer or anybody needs help, they know exactly where to go, where to reference, where to find that information in this data sheet. Now, a tertiary audience would be competitors. Competitors would take a look at this data sheet and they would see the specifications of this microchip. So that way they can replicate it and make another microchip to compete with this company. Now, the gatekeepers would be the manufacturers, which is actually Microchip. We can see that these are actually the authors as well. The authors of this document would be Microchip Technology Incorporated. We see that they're It's actually on every single page. They have their right here, see left, right, but they have the trademark on every single page. And so these are the actual manufacturers. The people who actually came out with this is the Microchip Technology Incorporated, the company. They actually hire uh, engineers and professionals actually make this document. This entire document is full of facts. And so it's actually a very professional document. And as you can see, everything is like, if it's not in complete sentences, what is in complete sentences? It's all grammatically correct. And it uses industry specific words such as like, uh, I mean, honestly, anything. If you just take a look at it, it's all industry specific words. So if you don't know, if you're not part of the industry, you're not going to understand a lot of the information that is provided in this document because you wouldn't know what to make of it. And so that's honestly how it was for even us. Whenever we first got introduced into this document, we had no idea what most of it meant, but it's all about going through it, reading it, figuring out what it means, how to use that, and that it's a great reference to actually understanding the chip and all the components and capabilities of it. Next, we'll talk about the context, the physical context. This, as you can see, this is a PDF document. It's of multiple pages, and it can be printed out, but since considering it's 256 pages, it's not very likely to print out. You can, but you wouldn't really you do that. Generally, you would just open this up on the computer. This is actually on, you can find this publicly. It's on the Microchip website. So you can find this on there and you would just open it up and then access it in whatever way you may need. And it's actually beneficial in that way because they're actually, if Microchip needs to, if Microchip Technologies needs to update this document in any way, then they can actually add on to it and then just re-upload it onto the website. So every time you go on there, it's updated to the newest features or whatever may be needed or required to add on there. Furthermore, we've really about covered everything, but I just wanted to go through and show you that like essentially all the sections are very, very similar. If you look at it, they look very similar. So in the beginning, it just like, I'll click on the first one, right? Let's just click on, well, this is just device overview, has all these graphs and stuff like that. But let's say we go on memory organization, it has basic main information about it. And then as you go down, they have the graphs, go into the graphs and just have all these graphs, features, whatever it may be. And then this is a pin layout diagram, as you can see. Now compare that to, let's say, another one, flash program memory. You see how in the beginning it has this main information, again, the introduction, and then it goes into like the graphs, whatever it may be, and then more information, and then goes into these similar IO devices, similar like tables. And so that's kind of how the entire document is. It's just every single one of these sub chapters talks about different features of the chip. But yeah, I have the document linked below, so if you'd like to take any further look at it, you can also access it. But other than that, that wraps up this analysis. Thank you.